Good evening, Oakland Park. My name is Desiree, and I am the editor of livinginoaklandpark.com, and I am also a local realtor here in Oakland Park. And tonight, I have the great pleasure of interviewing children's author Karlene Froling. Karlene, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. How are you?
I am doing great, and thanks for the invite. I'm really happy to be here tonight.
Well, we're excited to have you, and I know that you have a lot of knowledge to impart on us. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the questions, and we're looking forward to listening to everything that you have to say and everything that you can transmit to us from your
Awesome.
experience. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Okay, awesome. So currently, I work full time, and but in the evenings, I'm a mom, a wife, and a children's book author. And it's something that I really love. Now, I was born on the island of Jamaica, and then I migrated here in 2003, and that's where I met my husband here in the United States. And after getting married, I settled down and started working, and eventually I got to a place in my life where I was like, I hit a brick where I was just depressed and going through a period of, because of lifetime of seeing myself through others' eyes, it was hitting me big time. So, okay, then I fall into depression. How can I get out of it? I'm drowning, but I need to live. And it was a difficult time in my life. And then eventually I started to recondition my mind as to, okay, Karlene, you're good enough. You are smart. I started speaking life to myself. And then eventually I started to write children's book and to just to get myself from where I was and to bring myself back to a place where I can actually live again. And at the same time, impart what I've been through and how kids can relate to this and not get to the place that I was actually at.
Oh, that's very interesting. I never knew that the desire to write children's books had actually come from an attempt to lift yourself up. I find that very interesting. So I read your first book, The Mango Seed Doll, which was an adorable book. Can you tell us a little bit about the background to the Mango Seed Doll?
Most definitely. And that's the book that I actually used, that actually got me out of that place, out of that dark place. Because when I got to that place where I hit a brick wall and I wanted to survive, I started looking at my life from what transpired during my life that led me to where I'm at right now. And I started reading books. And the first book I read was actually Stephen King's memoir on writing. And so when I got that book, he started speaking about, what you can use to using the tools that you have to actually get from where you are right now to where you want to go. And so I started looking back at my childhood life, my childhood days, and see, what are the things that happened at that time that affected me so much to where I'm at right now at that dark place. And when I got there, a fond memory came back to me, and that was my days of playing and drawing, making mango seed dolls. That's just how we actually enjoy our time, just making mango seed dolls, being creative on the outside. And that's because I came from, as I mentioned, I'm from Jamaica, and even it's a beautiful island. But at the same time, I grew up in an impoverished town in Jamaica. So we didn't have all the glamour. We didn't have all the things that the other towns have. So we had to be creative. And then we used the stuff that we had at the time to create dolls, as I said. And my favorite was mango seed dolls with my sisters. And when I thought about that, I started thinking about what is going on in life today and what can I use to make a difference where kids are concerned so that they didn't have to go through what I went through. And so my childhood memory took me back to making the mango seed dolls. And then then that's a great story. I can make a story using my memory, write it, play with mango seed dolls. And I thought about that. And then I'm like, okay, let's draft it. But at the same time, how can I use that information to create something that could also benefit the kids of today based on what I see happening in society? And at the time, there was stuff, about racism. There were things about diversity. There's things about kids not seeing themselves good enough. And I thought about, okay, how can I address that issue without making it too preachy, and at the same time, just giving the kids something that they can enjoy. So I thought about the mango seed doll, because kids have plays with dolls. There are many different dolls, and the mango seed doll is quite different. So if I can use that story to bring across a message of self-love, self-confidence, at the same time teaching the whole thing about diversity, and that would be a great place to start. And so I draft the story, and once I draft it, then I got it to the editor and then materialized the mango seed doll. And as I said, it's a story about a little girl who has big ears, and she made a mango seed dolls, and her friends thought that it was ugly, and it hurt. It broke her heart, and she started to withdraw. And then eventually, she listened to what her friends had to say, but then developed a conversation by saying to her friends, "Okay, my doll might look different, but your doll looks different from Susie's doll." And she started to bring across a message versus like withdrawing and cursing and stuff like that. She created a conversation that could actually help solve the problem. And then eventually they all became friends just by speaking and discussing the matter at hand. So that's the mango seed doll.
Yes, it's I read the book and I remember how you put it all together, and it really did come together so beautifully, toward the end. And I know that your other books also have, the same goal in mind, is to help children understand each other. So what other books can you tell us about?
Okay, the message that surrounds all my books is about self-love, kindness, and becoming a better version of yourself. Because every day we have to leave our bubble and go into society, and you have to have the strong foundation of who you are. It's because there's so many things or factors that affects us when it comes to development, such as where you're from, the environment, what kind of home you're coming from, so you have to have that strong foundation to go forward. And so with that, I developed the mango seed doll. Of course, there's another version. So you have the mango seed doll that's told from the doll's point of view. And then you have the mango seed doll extended edition, which is told from the girl's point of view. So the doll witnessed everything, and so the story is told from her view. And then the little girl tells the story now from how she felt when the doll was teased, or she was teased about how her doll looks. And then I created You Unicorn, which is a book that teaches a healthy habit of how to deal with feelings of frustration. When kids when stuff goes wrong, how can you deal with that as a child? And so it teaches children how to stop and breathe and then think and then, come up with a solution for the problem instead of crying and stuff like that. And then, of course, this is my #1 bestseller, I Love Being Me, Uniquely Me. And it is also currently Amazon's Teacher's Pick. And this is the book that resonates so well with children. As I said, it's Amazon's Teacher's Pick. And one of the things the kids love about this book is because it features children of different nationalities speaking on this very matter, which is self-love. And it's written in rhyme. And as I said, it features children from various nationalities speaking about the message of self-love. And kids really love to read this book because they see a picture within the book that actually resonates with who they are and what they look like. And my other book here is Nate Sucked into a Video Game. And this one is very special to my heart because it was actually written by my son, Nathan. And he wrote this book when he was actually in grade 3, when he was 8 years old in grade 3. And it so happened that his teacher asked him to write a story. And because he's a fan of video games, he decided to write the book based on a video game. And when he wrote the story and handed it to his teacher, she showed it to the principal because they were amazed at the content in the story. And over time, I came, after having published my own book, I decided to just help my son and then got his book to publish. And it's a book that did very well for him. And I'm super proud of him on this book here.
Oh, you should be. That's an amazing accomplishment. What was it like to mentor him through that process?
It was a joy because at first you have a reserved child who didn't want to actually go go that route per se. But then it came to a point where I can actually sit down with him and say, okay, Nathan, you'll be doing several things. One, you'll be inspiring other children to actually write a book as well. Two, it will help you to develop self-confidence and learn how to market, learn how to handle, the whole thing about economics, how to manage the funds that you receive from the book, how to actually go out and promote your book. It actually helps him to just develop that self-confidence that he needed to actually go forward with for his schools or the debate team that he's on, or the other things that he does in school.
Wow. So he learned a lot of different lessons from that project with mom. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You've written some articles for Living in Oakland Park about children's literacy. What would you tell parents, that want to inspire this love of reading in their children? What are some tips that you would give parents to mentor their children, sort of like you've mentored yours?
Okay, the number one thing I would say to parents is, because there are times we will say that children doesn't, my child doesn't like to read, or stuff like that. But I always say every child loves to read. They just need to find that one good book. And what we can do is to always watch your kids to see the things that they love. If your child loves playing video games, we can get books that surrounds the message, the whole books that speaks about video games that the child resonates with. If your child loves to do makeup or do their hair, get books like Fancy Nancy, books that speaks about beauty and things that the kids would laugh and giggle. If your child loves to tell jokes, there are so many books out there that has to do with, that are funny. There's this book that calls about oh, I split my butt, or girls love to fart, little stuff like that. It sounds corny, but it's stuff that they would love because it's funny, So I would say to parents, start now, especially when your child is very young, because that's when they're going through that development stage, and when they're like a sponge to grasp, just suck stuff in. So I would say to parents, start now. Sometimes it's hard, especially if you have several jobs. It can be a little bit difficult finding the time to help your child to develop that love of reading. But what we can do as parents is, if you're driving, you're driving to the supermarket and your child is with you, tell a story in the car. See the stuff that are outside and develop a story by using the objects around you. Put an audio book on, or something to help the child. During the night time when you're going to bed, one of the things that you can also do is take 5 minutes, if it's only 5 minutes, and read a quick book, and then use the book to make the book for the child to enjoy the book. Sometimes we need to just bring the book alive, make it alive by giving the character voices and changing the whole thing so the child can actually start to enjoy the actual story. Because I find with my daughter is, when I take a book and I just read the book, in a few minutes I had destroyed all the bees and robot ladybug. It's boring. But when I take the story and I said, "Don't mess with me, Flarian. Oh, no, you don't. I cannot believe what I just saw. The strength of my power." And you start to put a little life. Sometimes it sounds a little corny or it comes across, but give the story life, and then you see the child themselves start to transform into a beaming light in terms of just wanting to hear more of what you're actually reading. And they themselves will start to develop that very same habit of giving the books life when they read and travel to different places in the stories. But for one, most definitely start now, and most definitely try to find the time to put even one page, to put 5 minutes of reading in each day. Try to find books that the children will resonate with. And as I said, look at the child, see what they like to do, and find books along those lines that the kids will actually pick up and read.
That's great advice. It really is, because I find it challenging to get my 12-year-old to read. But when I find that right book, she goes for it, It's so I know that children's literacy is really at the core of your being. You're really passionate about it as well. What kind of projects do you have related to that? Anything that you want to share with us?
Yes, most definitely. Now, for me, as I said, I'm from Jamaica, and where I live, as it was a little impoverished, so I didn't have access to a lot of books. And it took me a while, I would save my funds when I get it to actually get one book. And the first book I read was Nancy Drew's book. And then I got the series and I was quite entertained by the books. And because I know how it affected me, not having the resources that I need to build confidence, to speak a certain way, you know, full of information, having that knowledge that one needs. And I don't want kids to go through that. So I'm trying to get to a place where I can actually help kids build this whole love for reading. And so one thing that I'm thinking about, and I'm hoping to see it materialize sooner than later, and that is something that I call Booknik. And what Booknik is, it is actually where we'll go to the park and we'll bring a basket with us. The parents will come with a basket, and within that basket are books. And we'll have our mat and we'll all spread out on the lawn and we'll read a book to our parent, or the parent read a book to the child, and we'll just enjoy a day of reading in the park, and then hope to build like a community of friendship through that between kids and between parents. But my thing with all writing books is that in addition to trying to teach the kids about self-love, as I said, I want to encourage children to read, because literacy is very important. It is power. And sometimes we fail to see how important it is to have the necessary information to live, you know, because it is life as well. Because the more that we know, Dr. Seuss believes that the more you read, the more places you will go. It's also the more that you read, the more that you'll know. And by having this information, you have the power to make a change, whether that's going to be a change in your school, a change in your home, a change in your community. You have the necessary information. And so I want to start from there young to help to build that love level and that love of reading, so that when they get older, they too can have the vast knowledge that they need to make a change, whether it's going to be in their home, as I said, or in their community, or in schools, or in the White House, wherever they need to be, but they'll have the knowledge that they need.
Wonderful. And it's very true. I always used to say to my students when I was a teacher, knowledge is power. You know, the knowledge you have, it's a very powerful thing to have. And I'm going to take a minute, Karlene, to mention that we're going to be working together on a raffle of children's books up and coming with Living in Oakland Park. So we want everybody to stay tuned to this raffle that we're planning for 2021. It's going to be amazing. And Karlene's going to help us, and she's going to be at the center of it. So stay tuned for that, everybody. It's going to be awesome. I know that you've won recognition for your work. Tell us a little bit about the awards that you've won. And
there are several awards. The one that means so much to me is the day that I was nominated for the Martin Luther King Monumental Award. I was a nominee, and it meant so much to me because never in my wildest mind would I have dreamt or thought that my name would ever be mentioned in a room with Martin Luther King in the same sentence. And when that happened, it was a moment of saying to myself, you're doing good, you know, to speak to myself, you know, that self-love moment when you still say, you're doing good, what you're trying to accomplish, it's happening little by little, it's happening. Just keep doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll get to the place what you want to see happen when it comes to kids and the love of reading, or kids and becoming the better version of themselves every day. So that nomination and award was actually something that met my heart and made me feel accomplished. That was success in itself. And my book, The Mango Seed Doll, actually got an award for the Authors Academy, where it came second, and for the Authors Award. And then the Reader's Choice Award, it was actually second in that category as well, in the children's book category. So those three accomplishments I was pretty happy with that.
Wow. It's funny that you mentioned that. It kind of sounds like you may have been going through the imposter syndrome. Do you know what that is? The imposter syndrome? Have you ever heard of it?
No, I don't. No.
Then you're doing things, but you're not quite sure. You feel like an imposter, like you're not quite sure. And then, you know, when you got that Martin Luther King award, you kind of felt like, oh, I'm getting, you know, maybe I'm not such an imposter. I'm the real deal, you know?
Exactly. Because as I mentioned earlier, having gone through a period of depression in my life, of not seeing myself as good enough or qualified, or, you know, because I've seen myself through others' eyes for so long. And when I started the journey, I went out by faith, by moving outside of my comfort zone and telling myself that I can and I am good enough. And step by step, I started writing these books. But even while I'm writing, I'm still having that little reserve that, Karlene, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. You're not an author. This is not your thing. Back away from this. Leave it for someone else. Someone else will do it. Someone else who's better than you. Someone else who's more capable. Someone else who has the better tools than you do. You don't speak the right way. You don't sound the right way. You're not that intellectual, Karlene. Step away. So that was the feeling I was getting even while I'm writing my book. But again, I write just the same because I have learned that use the tools that you have at the skill level that you're at to do what you can. So maybe I'm not here yet, but where I'm at right now, I can still do something to make a difference, something to make a change. I can still affect and inspire the children. I can still do something. And that's what I'm doing. So it's just a matter of me just throwing myself out there, regardless of how I feel about myself, because after 47 years, it's not so easy to chip away at what was imprinted here, what was stored away for so long. But regardless of that, you can still move. And that's why I decided to write for children, because I don't want the kids to get to 46 years old and then realize I've wasted 46 years of my life living it through someone else's eyes because I failed to believe in me, because I didn't love me, because I don't see myself as beautiful enough. I don't see myself as, I see Sandra. Sandra is more this or Sandra is more that. But when by doing this, it helps me to just bring across my message, the message that I can, using my voice by being myself. Because yes, I know that there are other people who are more qualified. Yes, I know that there are other people who can do better, but they're at their level and I'm at my level doing what I can do today. So it is a joy to step outside of my comfort zone. Yes, I'm nervous. Yes, I am, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll be judged at time, but guess what? I am doing me and I am being me and I'm doing what Karlene can do at this time. I'm planting the seed that I can plant and then eventually reap and grow as down the road.
That's a fantastic message. And it's so important. I agree with you, especially kids nowadays. There's so many challenges that they face. It's a beautiful message that you're trying to convey to kids. And I think also to adult women, because a lot of us are those little girls inside. So it's a beautiful message, really.
Thank you.
I appreciate you sharing that with us. I see that Kaylin has been wanting to come on screen. Does she want to say hi to everybody real quick?
Just stand up quickly and say hi. We can just say hi.
Say hi, Kaylee.
You want to say hi?
Did she tell us what her favorite book is of Mommy's?
Come and tell us what your favorite book is. Yeah, stand up. Yeah, but you have to stand up and say so they can hear you. She's just smiling.
It's okay. It would have been interesting to hear what you said because she's so popping up here and there behind you. All right. So how can people buy Karlene's books? Where can they find your books? Tell us about your website.
Okay. So all the books are currently available on Amazon. But at the same time, if you need signed copies, it's also available on my website, which is KaysHeart. That's KaysHeart.com. So they're also available there. And I'm happy to sign books for those who need signature books as well.
Okay, wonderful. And we do have that in the scroller at the bottom of the screen so that people can reach your website. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the audience? We're getting towards the end of our interview. Anything else you would like to share before you read one of your books for us?
Well, I would just say to the audience, life is short. Enjoy life and be kind. Choose kindness in everything that we do. In our words, in our deeds, in our actions, always choose kindness. And because we never know what someone else is going through. So it's always best to just always choose kindness and be yourself. Be your authentic self. Sometimes it's not easy because we're living a life where we have so many things, social media, so many things coming at us. But at the same time, if we have that foundation, stand strong and true to who you are and be you in everything that you do.
Another great message about choosing kindness and being yourself. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what book do we have the pleasure of hearing you read to us tonight?
Okay, tonight I'm going to be reading the book I Love Being Me. And I decided to do this book because it's inclusive read at most of the schools. And as I said, this book features children of different nationalities and speaking a message of self-love. And that is the core of my business, to talk about self-love and to show how important it is at an early age to develop and at an early age.
Okay.
Let me see if I can do this.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm probably going to leave the screen so that we can just have you on screen reading the story.
Okay.
And kids can enjoy it without watching me. They can watch you. So I'm going to hide, but I will be here. If you need anything, just let me know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here you go.
So hi, boys and girls. I'm Karlene Froling, and I'm happy to be reading to you tonight the book I Love Being Me, because it's very important that we know who we are and to stay true to who we are. Okay? Are you ready? Let's go. Okay. I love being me, and you know that's no lie. You won't find someone sweeter, so don't even try. You can search high and low, but you never will find someone sweeter than me, or as nice, or as kind. I love all of me, every last inch of me. And I say it out loud, it's become my decree to be the best me that I could ever be. Come what may, I stand strong, and that is the key. I hold my head high, and I stand up the straightest. I'm proud when I see I'm clearly the greatest. From my wild matted hair, looking great on my head, to my 10 pearly toes that are glowing bright red. I'm trying to see how best I can have you see the actual. I love my bright eyes, pearly teeth, and cute chin. And just look at my ears and my beautiful chin. I'm perfectly me, right down to my tie. It can't get much better. I won't even try. My trust and my honesty brightens my face. I see beauty in others and treat them with grace. My heart has a beauty that shines from within. It taught me to love and have faith and to win. I'm amazingly cute and totally smart. My IQ so high, it flies right off the chart. I'm way at the top, number one in my poll. To be the best person is always my goal. This is my body. Each part is all mine. So please don't dare judge me. Instead, help me shine. Sugar and spice, I may not always be, but that means I'm human. My emotions run free. Although we are different, we're really the same, perfectly made, every inch of our frame. There are good days, yet others feel like a true test. Come what may, I still know I'm simply the best. I hold my head high, and although I may fall, I always get up and I keep walking tall. Yes, sometimes I stumble, and it's all okay. It makes me feel stronger to face the next day. I look after myself. I won't be distracted by what others are saying. I won't be impacted. Gossip is something I just will not own. I won't let it affect me, as my strength is shown. Whenever you see me, my head is held high. I hope you won't judge me, even with my black eye. I never will hide what God meant me to be. This beautiful masterpiece, look and you'll see. For me to be someone else, it won't do. That would be a red flag. I am me and you are you. I tried once before to be just like my friend. That idea was bad and was brought to an end. You see, at first it was cute. We would laugh, we would play. How sweet and adorable, people would say. Though we dressed the same way, even talk alike too, only one of us was the real me, through and through. I'm glad it's all over. It was hard and I sighed. I'm sorry for how I acted. I just want to hide. There's no doubt being true to myself is the key. I know I'm the best. I just love being me. To be better, be you, and I will be me. And that is how we were created to be. I am strong. I am brave. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am loved. I am powerful. I am unique. I am funny. I am sweet. I am kind. I am polite. I am complete. So remember, you never can recreate you. What you are now, you can never outdo. Another like you, no one ever will find. You are dear, you are special, you are one of a kind. Me, yes, me. I am the one I love to be. Love me or not, I will always be me. You, yes, you. You should love being yourself too. Being you is something no one else can do. Say after me, there is only one me. Say it out loud, and I love being me. I really hope you enjoyed today's reading.
I loved it. I think we need an adult version of this book. What a great book and a beautiful message. It rhymes so beautifully. That was great. I'm sure any kids that watched it or are going to watch that are really going to enjoy it. And now I understand why that book is one of your most popular books. It's adorable. Absolutely adorable.
Thank you so much.
Karlene, thank you for reading that book to the children. Thank you for coming on the show tonight and sharing your experience, imparting your wisdom and your message. It's a great moment in this world right now to hear that message reiterated. So I thank you very much for that. And I want to wish you and your family a happy holiday. And we'll be talking soon about the things that we have planned coming up together. So thank you very much for being on the show this evening.
And thank you again for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. This is the last show for 2020. We will be back in January with some more guests. I'm really excited. I'm trying to put together different shows that address different topics that are interesting to us and to our community. We are always open to suggestions. You can email me at editor@livinginoaklandpark.com at any time with suggestions. Thank you again for tuning in this evening. I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and I will see you back here in 2021. But from now until then, I'm sure I'll see you in and around Oakland Park. And if you need anything, you know how to find me. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.